I think when you watch the hands raised, like when in that waiting period, if you look at Islam, I think his face tells that he doesn't know.
Yeah. I think he's like relieved. He's like, wow. Yeah.
Jesters.
Yes, sir.
Certified Jesters, the original truth tellers. Welcome back.
Thank you.
In the flesh.
Absolutely. Feels so much better in person.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's what she said.
Wait.
Anyways, lots to talk about. A lot has happened. A lot has transpired.
Yep.
And I'm excited. First and foremost, it's as we're recording a Super Bowl Sunday. So,
yep.
You see, if you didn't know who we were going for, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty apparent, you know what I mean? Need the guy to go ahead and get two. You know what I mean?
The GOAT.
Yeah.
My GOAT.
Your GOAT.
Yeah. So
already.
Yeah.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Talent wise, I don't.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. I've seen enough.
Okay.
Because the other GOAT, he lacks you don't have to be you don't have to be Lamar athletic, but he lacks a certain level of athleticism, and then he lacks a certain level of arm talent, in terms of strength. Bro,
you don't think the arm strength is there?
I think Mahomes has a cannon.
Yeah, he does.
And I think that there's just Brady can he gets it done.
His deep ball is amazing.
He gets it done.
It's amazing.
But I think
there's levels.
I think if Mahomes lines up in the end zone, he's getting it to the other end zone on target. So, this is my guy right here.
Do you feel like the baseline needs to be like Aaron Rodgers type of mobility? He's like someone that can escape the pocket, but is not necessarily who you're game planning around, leaving the pocket.
I think Brady is the GOAT, and what he does is perfectly, it's good enough. But I think Mahomes is a step athletically, he's above that,
right?
So, and he's just as accurate, strong arm. I think he just has the prototype he has the foundation. He just needs to have a good career so it can just be so. I think Aaron Rodgers is more athletic than Brady, but I do still think Brady is the GOAT. So I don't think
Yeah, Brady's a statue. He's the typical pocket passer, not going to extend the play.
Right.
Nothing like that. He's just going to get in there, dump it off, make the right plays, keep him in the game.
Aaron Rodgers, and that's the other guy. His style of play is similar to Mahomes, but for Brady, bro, he was just getting it done, bro.
Well, there's a certain amount of when I was in college, one of my coaches tell me they had said that somebody had they describe a player that's competitive and will just go up there and compete. He's like, sometimes you got to have a little shit in your neck. Now, I don't know what that means.
What does that mean?
But I get it.
Okay.
And I get it.
Okay.
And someone like Brady, I hope I'm using it in the right context. Someone like Brady and someone like Mahomes and someone like Joe Burrow, and even, not to discredit anybody that I'm leaving out, but those are the three that really come to mind. They're gamers.
Right.
Above all else, they just want to win. I'm sure Josh Allen's the same way. Lamar's the same way. But when you talk about an Aaron Rodgers, to me, he's kind of a front runner.
Yeah.
I say kind of to be polite. I think he is a front runner.
Right.
And I love the talent. You can't take it. MVP.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest moments we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Especially as people that don't necessarily root for the Cowboys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been some instances where, he put the dagger on him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You got to appreciate that. But
no,
there's a certain, I think that type of competitive mentality is what quarterbacks need in order to also be on the next level, opposed to just the talent too. But Mahomes is definitely a gamer.
Yeah. One thing about Aaron Rodgers, it seems like he's a him first kind of guy, and those other guys are a team kind of guy.
Absolutely.
So it's
absolutely.
I got a star receiver, or I got a decent receiver. Instead of risking throwing it to him and giving him a chance, I'm gonna throw it out of bounds to save my touchdown to interception ratio.
Right. Yeah, he does that.
I think those guys are like Brady to a lesser extent. Like he always takes like a calculated kind of risk, but those other guys are like, I'm gonna give my guy a chance.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happened. But
For
Mahomes is like,
hey, you know what they said? Hey, Tyreek's down there somewhere.
Hey, if you ready to route, bro, and the play is you the number one option, and I can get it off. All right. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. That's I think that's Jamar Chase. That's Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow to like a T, because he has, bro, both of his weapons are like, hey, I think T. Higgins is like 6'4".
Yeah, he's
bro. Throw it up.
Yeah,
give me a chance.
Let's see.
Yeah,
let's see.
He said instead of 50-50 balls, like he upped the ratio. It might have been like 80-20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
Hey, he's not wrong either.
Not a problem.
He's crazy. So what do you expect from the game tonight?
I think Kansas City has like this foundation. I think they have like a style of play, and I expect Mahomes to do some spectacular things in terms of just like eye-popping plays, underhand passes, like little things. I expect Travis Kelce to be the blanket, the security blanket.
For sure.
And I don't know if we're gonna see a high-scoring game or if we're gonna see a more of like a physical, like let's try to bully these guys in terms of like for the Eagles. So I'm expecting the Chiefs to win, to be honest. I like what the Eagles have done. I like that they're, here. I like that we're getting 2 black quarterbacks.
Hey, first time in history.
Bro. And then I like that Hurts is one of those. Hurts is not the prototypical quarterback. Like Mahomes is just an outstanding talent, but he is more towards the standard. Yeah, I can sit in the pocket and just pick you apart.
Yeah.
Hurts is like a different style to which people would say that you can't win with that.
Right.
And I love that. So
he has
a good receiver. Brown.
AJ Brown.
Love that.
And your boys over there.
Our boy.
Yeah. I just know that.
Yeah, that's
a lot of them guys are my guys.
Yes.
But this guy I know for sure is one of them ones for you,
bro.
Devontae Smith, by the way.
Exactly. So
yeah,
I'm interested.
And then they have Dallas Goedert. He's a good tight end. He's not like he's not crazy, but he's good. They traded Zach Ertz and kept him, and Zach Ertz is we know Zach Ertz.
Oh, I'm already knowing they traded Zach Ertz because last year when I won the freaking league, I had so many Eagles on my team, bro. When I won that league last year, our fantasy league.
Yeah,
the running backs.
Yeah. When you just abruptly retired like Khabib.
I mean, listen, you retire on top. You don't. You know what I mean. You don't wait to.
You defend the belt. Then the division gets all mucky.
I don't remember Connor defending anything. So I just I'm a.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying you're the notorious.
Right, exactly. Okay. I'm coming in, making a splash on the scene.
Yeah. Getting out of there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now we'd never know how great I could have been.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But Chiefs dub is what I.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I have to. I think the ultimate like difference in the two teams, aside from what you said, I mean they're two completely different teams. But I think what will separate them in terms of winning is the fact that Kansas City has been there before, and it's still the core. Like I mean, besides Tyrann Mathieu, I mean Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce.
Yep.
They lost Hill, but I'll talk about that in just a second. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But plus Andy Reid, I just think it's a lot of experience and a lot of talent and a lot of like veteran savvy. Like this Eagles team kind of feels like the Carolina Panthers team when Cam Newton made it.
Right.
Where they're just having fun. Obviously they're competitive and they want to win, but there's also like a youthful like energy, spirit. Kind of like you see Golden State go to the finals for the first time. You're like, y'all are just like some, you know what I mean? Y'all
them people be dangerous.
Exactly.
Nothing to lose.
Bro.
I'm here, bro. Excited.
There's parallels in every sport too. The what comes to mind for me, I know we spoke about it I think yesterday, but I don't even know if I mentioned that. So me and somebody spoke about it. But Dominique Reyes, when he fought John Jones.
Right.
When John Jones first started fighting, he was he was not like the professional he is today. He was just in there wild, flying knees, like spinning elbows, just trying stuff against these adults.
Yes.
Now he's a little more calculated, sit back, figuring them out. Like, we're not going to wear things out. Like, let's see where it goes. But when Reyes fought him, Reyes kind of had that youthful energy.
Like, bro, I have nothing to lose. This is the GOAT.
And I can beat him.
Yeah.
And I can beat him.
Yeah.
And that's the most important belief is having that belief that they can win. And I think Philly does have that. Like a lot of channels, a lot of that energy.
Absolutely.
But will that be enough? I don't know. I just don't want to see Mahomes go 1-2.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
Yeah. I mean,
it's better than some other looks, but
yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's getting there though. That has got to be something, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little something. They do have like a lot of those guys on that Eagles team have like a dog mentality. Bro.
There's swag over there.
It is like
top to bottom. Well, even AJ Brown was already like a dog.
Yeah.
From your home state.
Your
affiliate state.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, but I think now he has an even bigger chip on his shoulder because the Titans decided to trade him instead of paying him.
Yeah, or because he has a quarterback. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying.
We're not going to do this.
I'm just saying.
We're not going to do this.
He's got a quarterback that's going to pass more than 8 times in a game.
I do agree with that.
Okay.
And I love me some Jalen Hurts, roll Sooners or whatever he said.
Yeah.
But he's kind of inaccurate at times.
Right.
And still, even like that Devontae Smith catch,
bro,
he was wide open.
Oh my God.
That was a crazy catch. You know what I'm saying? Roll Tide. I control what I can control.
Yeah.
Bad pass doesn't matter. I'm gonna make it happen.
Exactly.
That boy said, Stop the ball, bro.
Bro, I love Smith.
Yeah,
bro.
He's nice, bro.
He is clean. See the thing about, like, I'm saying he has a quarterback, but it's like a winner, like like he has a professional quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe I can't deliver it perfectly.
Yeah.
But I'll be damned if I'm not trying.
Yep.
And that's like, as a receiver, they're probably like, bro, I'm putting it on the line because he's putting it on the line.
Yeah. And when all else fails, I mean, Hurts has the ability to run too.
Exactly.
So he's going to extend plays. I think that is, like, from what I've seen, it's a strength and a weakness because as soon as he feels pressure, his head's down. Like,
right.
Head's down. Okay, I got to get out of here. Versus you see that with Lamar too, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Josh Allen's kind of like that, but he's also one of those people that has their heads up. Mahomes has the ability to extend plays and run.
Right.
He usually keeps that in his back pocket for when he really needs it, especially AFC Championship. He had the big scramble that kept things going. But someone like him, the difference, he keeps his head up.
Right.
And he's looking to make a play downfield.
Right.
So, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be cool to see just what happens. I think I'm on Prize Picks with it today. We're not sponsored, no free shout outs. But I am on Prize Picks with it today. So Chiefs lose. Hopefully I win somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to hedge your bets sometimes.
No, exactly.
I seen that boy Carrington was tweeting and Instagram and
Snapchat.
Oh, yeah. So nobody got the Chiefs?
Oh, man.
Like, bro, I'm not even going to.
You don't want to entertain that?
I don't want to entertain it. I just enjoy the game.
Okay.
Enjoy the game. No extra stakes needed.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's it for the Super Bowl. And then of course we can go right there and talk about what needs to be talked about, man. UFC 284. 284. Islam Makhachev, Alexander Volkanovski, the headline, the pound for pound title on the line.
Yep. Lightweight title on the line. Yep.
So high stakes. What did you think about the card? What did you think about the main event? Like, what are your initial thoughts? We're not even 24 hours removed from the fight at this point.
Yeah. First thing that comes to mind when I think about the card is that crowd was
rocking,
amazing,
bro. Rocking, bro.
Amazing.
Yes. And just seeing Izzy in the crowd too was just like extra sweet, especially because he's from over there.
And the UFC has so much talent from Australia. It's a small sample size, but like the talent that they do have from there is like everybody is major. Tuivasa, top 5. Ooh. Robert Whittaker, arguably the best in his division outside of Izzy and now Pereira. Izzy.
Ooh. What do you think about the that environment versus London last year, the first card?
Literally the two comparisons I'm gonna make. I think the Perth card is amazing. The crowd was amazing. But they were in such a big like stadium. Like I think that they were like in terms of how loud they were.
Yeah.
It was. I think that was like top. Like bro,
yeah.
It doesn't get bigger and better than that. I think the London card, it was in a smaller arena, and I think it was more like intimate. So it gives you like like pound for pound, they were just as loud, smaller. It was like closer,
right?
Yeah. So and it was just crazy. Like the energy in there is crazy, and the way they do it in London is just different. You know, like how they do in soccer games. They're singing, they're rocking.
Yeah.
Patty comes out like. It was very similar. It was very similar.
Boy, get to
bro. Patty the Patty, bro. It's parallel. They're both. It was great. I think that place is so big that I don't know if you can double back to go do it again just as soon. Because when that London card happened, bro, and again, I think they're in. I don't know the numbers, but they are definitely in a smaller arena. I'm pretty sure
in London.
Yeah. So I'm like, they doubled back on that a couple months later, but I think it's easier to fill out like a 15,000, 20,000 versus like a 40, 50,000 arena. I don't know the numbers. I'm just speculating. So but yeah, that first thing comes to mind. Crowd.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The fights and everything on the card, they were good. Everybody delivered. It was like competitive. You know, we didn't have the big names top to bottom, but it was a competitive card, and that was good.
That's what. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's what you kind of anticipated with.
Yeah. I thought it was like I thought it was gonna be a good card. Not necessarily because of the names, but because of like the matchups.
Right.
And that's like for like a fan. And not just a casual fan. No shame, no shade to that. Like it's casual. Just like
it's okay.
It's just like if there's not a lot of name brand guys on there, so it's hard for you to pay attention. But if you want to see good fights, it's good. Good to have good competition on there.
Yeah. And we spoke about it beforehand. For a casual, it's not the ideal card that you want to kind of watch. But ultimately it delivered for what it was, and that got tied into the lack of promotion conversation,
right.
Which Islam, I think, walked back.
He ended up, and I think he said he like Dana sent him some numbers and stuff like that, and
check the numbers. I'm the one who really get it,
and he said that like he's not like familiar with the game of like promotion and stuff, and he really walked it back, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe like he probably reached out and he's like, fam, what promotion do you want when there's no seats here?
Yeah.
Like, what do you need from me? So
speaks to him as a character.
Yeah.
To be able to just walk it back and be like, oh no, I was wrong. Like whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what happens when you're just like one, a genuine person, but two, just like speaking your mind. You're like, oh, I don't think he's promoting it, and then you're like, oh, there's no seats. Okay, maybe it is. But two things can be true. There's no seats because it's been so long since they've been to Australia, and everybody in Australia is itching for that.
Right.
So
and then you got Volkanovski headlining it, but even then, their sold out record is like, I don't know, 75. I don't know. It's something crazy. And so it looks like it's just going to sell itself anyways. So kind of push the machine where it needs to be pushed. Not necessarily this one. You brought up a great point. In the other podcast that we did, if you didn't see it, check it out. With Opinionated on Opinionated Media.
Yeah, shout out them boys at Opinionated.
Yes, sir. We'll put it on the card. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out them boys. But you brought up a great point, which is, does the UFC want to push like a card that might not have the best fights on it, or at least maybe the main event isn't going to be like the best fight. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to push all the casuals, because ultimately, to make like a big booming card, you're really trying to get casual.
Exactly.
attention.
You're trying to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
draw somebody in.
Right. Yeah. So you gotta put your eggs in the great fight basket if you're gonna do it. Which I mean, Volkanovski, huge underdog.
Woo!
And that was a good ass fight.
Yeah, that fight produced. Like
before we talk about that fight, though,
yes,
I don't really have vested interest in any of the ones before it.
Yeah,
other than I'm in the club, or I was in the club.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like in and out. Carlos is next to me, and he's like bumping me every time I need to be watching. This is the Yair fight, right?
Yeah.
And then I noticed like Carlos is looking this way, and I'm next to him, and I like glance down, and all I see is.
No,
I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, what is? I'm like, okay, this man is definitely in the triangle right now, and bro, you weren't even like, like, bro, you were supposed to keep me in line. I'm like,
yeah.
He was like, bro, I thought they were going to the next round. I was like, no, they're going to the next fight.
yeah, they go to the next round. Okay, yeah. Well, first of all, it was amazing that the boys is in the club watching the fights.
Come on, man. Got to do our due diligence.
If the club not going to put the fights on, then,
somebody got to do it.
Yeah. So that we have to appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yes, bro, I'm driving to work, watching while I'm driving. And I'm like, I miss how Yair goes to the ground. So I'm like, okay. Emmett's in a great position. Like what's going on? And then I'm like, oh, I see the triangle get snatched in. I see it like forming, and I'm like, if he grabs his foot, like this could be over.
Mm-hmm.
Bro grabs the foot. I'm like, oh my goodness, a submit. And that's not what like. How I seen the fight going. I thought it was going to be power versus like a flashy, finessing striker. So I'm thinking, okay, somehow on the feet, they're going to touch each other up. Yair's got to stay away from the power. And then he's also going to land these shots. A freaking triangle? Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? And then once I get to my destination, I kind of go back a little bit to see how they get to the ground. Yair throws a strike that leads him to then I believe he tries to either take him down, or he throws a strike that puts him in a position to where he's going to go to the ground. And then that's how Emmett ends up on top. So when I looked down, and then when I looked back at the screen, I see Emmett on top. I'm like, okay, maybe he got him down. No, this happened because of Yair's strike, and then gets it reversed a little bit, and then he makes the most of the situation. That amazing. So
yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And what'd you say before the fight? Viva Mexico.
Viva Mexico. So I wanted him to win because he's like you know how I feel about I have this feeling about your boys in Alabama. I think that when you have two people who fight the same way, the guy who does that better is going to win more often than not. So if you have two running teams, the guy who has the best running back, the best line, that's going to be the team that wins more often than not. You know, in the sport like football, anything can happen. But that's why I think in the SEC, everybody plays a similar style. That's why I think Alabama comes out on top more often than not, because they're the best at that style. However, when you put them against somebody, it doesn't happen often because these teams aren't as good. But when you put them against somebody who has a different style, it's like Ohio State or a West Coast offense, or even or more balanced. Those are the teams that'll give you a little bit of a fit, because it's like, okay,
matchups make fights.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah,
so
styles make fights.
I don't think Emmett has what it takes to beat Volkanovski, because they have Volkanovski has what he needs to win that fight. Yeah. And any other fight. Yeah. Let's be clear.
As it so appears, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to say I really appreciate the Alabama praise, because I know at this time, you know what I mean? People are looking at maybe some other contenders that you know might be running the conference or even the country when it comes to college football. But we all know the truth.
Yeah.
This, you know,
at this moment in history, they're on top currently. Yeah. But you know, there's longevity to the thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
I see you do it a couple times, man. Do it again, though.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Let me see.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Sustained excellence. We want to see that. We want to see that. It was I saw post-fight Yair, they asked him what he was telling Emmett, because as soon as the fight ended, he was like in his face
immediately,
consoling him, and basically he had said that, you know, don't be down. Don't be down. You're a warrior. You're going to overcome this. You're going to be back. And I'm sure we're going to fight for a title at some point.
Right.
Or fight again, at least. And so that speaks a lot to his character.
Absolutely.
That speaks a lot to his character.
For it to be like fam, he didn't even get to his feet before he could consult him. Yeah. That lets me, like, he was definitely, that was sincere. Yep. You know, a lot of, sometimes you have to wonder what people are like doing stuff for, or what they're thinking.
Shout out to Jamal Hill for completely drilling that one in, because that boy went on the JRE and said,
"This is."
He was like, a lot of people are just trying to do this thing for appearances,
right?
Yeah, which makes you even more excited for that fight. But,
exactly.
He said, "I think he's just trying to make it look a certain way, or maybe make people think he's a certain way."
Right. And so when with Jamal, I'm like, oh my goodness, really, we're taking it there. Damn, okay.
And Jamal's the type of person that he means that 100% authentically.
Right. If he feels that way, he's gonna say it, and that's what he feels.
Absolutely.
But immediately Yair got up and showed him. I kind of want to see what it looked like from his perspective, because he, like, that's a very intimate like situation.
Right.
Like, he chokes him out. Typically, you would, like, the moment is kind of like big, so you're kind of like looking around, like he's eye to eye with him, like, hey, like, stay up, bro. Like,
right.
Don't worry about this. Just whatever. And for him to say that, I don't know, man. Like, y'all are in a title fight. You just won. Like, are you not, like, he definitely wasn't, and I don't know if it's because of the interim title, but he definitely wasn't like shocked by the moment. It felt like he was like very present, very there. He wasn't too emotional. He was like I'm here. Like, he did it.
Yeah.
So.
And then what do you expect for that Volk Yair fight?
I expect Yair to be this flashy striker that he is, do what he does, but there's a champion in that division, and his name is Alexander Volkanovski. The champion has a name.
Has anyone built their brand better in the past 12 months than Alexander Volkanovski?
Bro,
on the tail end of the Max Holloway fight to end that they fought 4 times, three times.
Yep.
So to end that trilogy the way it ended, as flashy as it ended, and got the respect right then and there, to this fight and the way it turned out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone's stock has risen like his. Maybe Pereira, but there's his stock is way up from
and he's getting the love for being like this, for being the good fighter that he is, but he's definitely embraced and like taken a step to be more vocal about it, because going into that Max fight, he was going in the Ortega fight, he made it like a switch, because he was like a quiet, not quiet, but he was just a speak when needs to be spoken, kind of get it done. Then he goes into the Ortega fight like, okay, I'm gonna be the bad guy, like, because Ortega was just so friendly, nice, good guy. He's like, I'm gonna be the bad guy. Comes out of that fight through some adversity. He's like, okay, like I'm here. Going into that Max fight, he was on the I don't want to talk too much, but if there was a time Max was gonna beat me, it was gonna be the second fight. I'm not gonna say why. I'm not gonna do any of this. Not doing no complaining, nothing. But if there was a time, and I'm gonna show you this next fight. And when he comes out and shows you,
beat his ass, and then afterwards said, "Yeah, I told y'all that, and the reason I told y'all that was because of this."
Yeah. So now he's bro. So I think there was a level of like he is supremely confident, and
well, I think there's also and we spoke about this on again the Opinionated Media podcast. Go check that out. But we spoke about it on there in regards to fighters building their own brands and how important that is. And you see that Volk had the cooking show, and even on, I think it was Jamal Hill when he was on the JRE, he was like, "Oh yeah, Volk has the cooking show. That's what he knew him for." But Volk's also now in the style bender breakdown fights. What is it? I'm drawing a blank on the word.
Predictions.
Yep. Yeah. Give predictions for the upcoming cards. Yep. He's going into that lane too and building his brand aside from just like this common interest that he has. And then you're saying that he has the charisma and the personality going into the fights in the media. I mentioned on that podcast, he started doing a lot more media, a lot more interviews, a lot more frequently.
Yeah.
And I think all of that is his attempt to build his brand to become a more valuable / marketable / promotable fighter. And it's working.
Absolutely.
That tag teamed with the way he's been performing.
Yeah.
Even though he lost.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all.
It didn't hurt his stock
at all.
Not even
at all.
It improved his stock.
So on your like topic about Volk doing a lot, like he does, he has stepped into that. And I don't want to give my boy too much credit, but I do think that Izzy, he changed this. He put that in the forefront. And not only that, he put Volk on his, and now Volk's doing similar,
I said the style bender for a reason, because you can even from the optic standpoint, if you're familiar with Adesanya's YouTube, it's from the same
formula.
Formula.
Yeah.
Jacob Hopkins, shout out Jacob Hopkins and Opinionated Media. If you look at his YouTube videos or his shorts, they look like Alex Hermosi's to a degree. A little bit different, but you can tell. Maybe it's because we've seen a little bit behind the scenes, but you can tell it's from a similar cloth. That's style.
And you can definitely tell where the influence is coming from.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
No.
Actually, everything is great with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's following the right person.
Absolutely.
Volkanovski.
But when you say, do you hear Volk saying the fight wasn't promoted well enough?
If he did, I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either, so I don't know if he did or not.
Yeah.
But when you're out there promoting,
you're
not really too much worried about the promotion.
Right.
Especially when the numbers are saying like the UFC is at the point where, and this is what kind of like I was getting to, they're at the point where their foundation is laid. So they're going to do what they're going to do off of their brands just alone. So
for sure,
the UFC is coming to Perth. We're going to sell out because we're the UFC.
For sure.
Now we're going to put the marketing media money behind some of these like explosive, jaw-dropping cards and fights because we're going to like do our extra to get more eyes to this, more fight-friendly fights. But that's where these guys have to, like, I remember Adesanya, he had a complaint about the promotion, but he had a complaint about how you roll out the promotion, like how you roll out the announcement. Like you don't just announce me
you don't
right before commercial break, before, right after the card. No, you make a video, you drop the promotion, or you do it the day after. Like this is a big deal.
Right.
And that was his gripe with promoting the fight.
Right.
So it was never after the fight's being, like after the fight's already announced, how do we, no, because he's doing his stuff. And actually when he had that issue with them, he dropped his own video. This is how you promote the fight, or this is how you roll out and announce the fight.
Yeah.
So, but Volk,
and he's still a company man too.
Absolutely.
And that's the nugget I take away from that, because I think he's exactly correct and he went about it the right way. And I think more fighters can learn from that kind of strategy, and the UFC, like that's a push-pull relationship. Like the UFC could have reprimanded him for that.
Right.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the way you go about it.
And I don't think that they, and maybe there's a soundbite out there about like what needs to be done, but I will tell you one thing, they promoted it better.
Yeah, they started dropping those videos. Yeah.
And even with his fight, then it was either the next card or something, they did something to where it was like, this is the fight to watch. And he's like, there you go.
Right. Well, there's always there needs to be checks and balances. Yeah. Obviously, the UFC is bigger than its fighters. We know that. But the UFC doesn't go without its fighters. And especially when you have someone like Adesanya, who is, without McGregor really in the sport like that, he's the next big brand.
Extremely marketable.
Marketable, exactly. Champion, world class type of personality.
Yep.
So there is kind of that like, maybe this isn't true, but from my perspective, you see maybe Dana getting a little comfortable with, I can just throw out a name because I know it's going to sell out, it's going to do well, versus no, you still have to like be on your toes. Like the UFC's miles ahead of any other organization.
Exactly.
But once you start letting things slip through the through the cracks, that's the only way another promotion would catch up.
Right. And it's good that like there's not a big like an issue. When a fighter speaks on something like this, it's more of a when Izzy did that, it was kind of like a okay. Maybe it wasn't even addressed. It was just like okay. And then they do a little bit better with the Islam thing. It's like, Dana kind of shot him a bail a little bit, but also was kind of firm on like, we're promoting the fight. There's no more tickets, whatever. Yeah. But then he was also like, well, what does he know? Like, he's in Dagestan. And maybe he was maybe somebody's interpreting it. Like, is he the one that said this? Like, he's like, there could be some variables. Yeah. And even still, he sent them the information. Like, listen, like, it's being promoted. So. Yeah.
Got to have a good relationship with your champions.
Yeah. And I think along with the, somebody who has a good, like, Izzy doesn't speak on it, but his actions show you that you need to brand yourself, and you need to, like, he's not complaining to the UFC about his type of deals. Yeah. Because I'm sure he's getting taken care of. Yeah. And then he also, outside of it, is doing what's necessary to promote himself and build his own brand. But somebody who is extremely vocal about it is Sean O'Malley. And he is like, UFC is a platform for you to build off of. For sure. So you need to grow yourself. It's not on them to grow you. For sure. So that's where I think, like,
good company guy too.
Yeah. And these are guys who they are fan favorites, and they're comfortable with what they're getting. Now, I say that, and two things can be true. The UFC does need to have better practices, taking care of other fighters and things like that. Like, we're talking about the two of the top 5 most marketable guys in the UFC. Right. So there are a lot more people below them who are probably receiving less than desirable treatment from the UFC. Yeah. But these are guys who are like, fam, build your brand. Yeah. However, whatever, find your groove. Sean O'Malley didn't come into the UFC with rainbow hair and tattoos on his face. Right. Like, he did that to be more marketable.
For sure. And it stood out, and it worked.
It worked.
You know what's crazy? Well, two things. First, did you see what Adesanya said about Francis, and what'd you think about that?
I think Adesanya, like, in his position, because some people I know him, Usman, and Francis, they all were like, the 3 kings, and they're all from African descent heritage, and they had the, like, ability to kind of persuade the organization, but that comes with, like, a level of, like, you got to be willing to, like, go to a place where Adesanya has a good relationship with the company, better than Francis, and probably better than Kamaru, because of the way he is, his brand, his marketability.
Just like Conor.
Yeah, so it's like, what gripe does he have? Like, what battle is he finna fight with the UFC when he's getting taken care of pretty well? Yeah. So I think it is right for him to stand with Francis and not, be like, oh, well, he should have did this because UFC is great, whatever. Yeah. It's like, he did the right thing, and he's asking for
reasonable
things, and, like, he said things need to change, but not everybody not everybody has that, like, protesting in their heart. You know what I mean? Like, even though Adesanya may have a tough upbringing, Francis is, like, coming from a whole different, like his story in itself shows you, like, fam, like, he's made it, and he's willing to go through whatever is necessary. So I'm sure he already has more than enough money by his means to like live the way he wants to. So he's like, I'm asking for these things. And he was asking for things for other people. They're in a business where they're negotiating for themselves. So how are we going to put something in your contract that makes everybody, like,
the fight that he was fighting was very large.
Yeah, it's the good fight, and it's the long war that he's fighting.
And somebody has to die on that sword, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah, so I think Izzy was, like, I think he handled it good. And I mean, the only thing you can ask of him is to take the same stance Francis had, and then potentially, go on strike against the UFC. But that's your legacy and your career that you're kind of like risking or throwing away just for the betterment of everybody else. And ultimately, you can't fault somebody for not doing something like that, especially when it's not like a life or death kind of thing. Like this is like in a perfect world, we want this stuff to happen, but Adesanya's getting taken care of. His family's getting taken care of.
Well, he also mentioned that it takes time too.
Yeah.
So he was like, and it will happen. It's going to take some time to get there, which I think it's easy to lose track of how relatively young the UFC is. So where it's going to go, I mean, there's going to be a point where things are better taken care of. Fighters are higher paid, and maybe health insurance does come into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it'll get to a point where, because I mean, right from COVID to now, the sport is blown up. Yeah, it's exponential. Yeah. So who knows where the sport goes in, another 3 to 5 years,
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to touch on was, and it keeps evading my mind, so I'm trying to bring it in. And I remember right now. So the new media, how like the whole revelation in the NBA was new media, it's the player-led media. We're going to give you the real, whatever. You see people doing podcasts and different shows and stuff while they're still in the sport.
Right.
It's cool to see that revolution take place in the UFC. Granted, it's slow. Right. And it's kind of like more quiet under the radar. Again, this is a relatively smaller sport compared to those other sports in general. But you see someone like Anthony Smith have his own platform. Of course, Chael Sonnen, what he did as a fighter, set him up for this. DC has his own platform. Bisping has his own platform. Cejudo has his own platform. And that serves as like a coaching, marketing thing too.
Exactly. Yeah.
To help his business. So it's cool to see a lot of these athletes get very business savvy, to Sean O'Malley's point, and use the platform and use all the hard work they put in the octagon to pay dividends over and over. Because if you just go in there and you fight and your career's done,
it's not good enough.
Like, I mean, you had Stipe go, I'm sure he enjoys being a firefighter, but you had him go be a fighter because the pension's really good, the benefits are really good, whatever. Imagine how good of a situation someone like DC is in, where he's commentating whatever fights he wants to. He has his own YouTube channel, probably has sponsorships here, endorsements there.
Yeah.
You're set up for life, all from capitalizing on this relatively short career of athletics.
Yeah. And I think that like a perfect example of that is Henry. He, as a fighter, this is the reason that he's retired, right? Well, he's coming back now, but this is the reason he retired in the first place. He wanted to get paid more. But one, he was in, I know how you feel about the division. So he's in the 125 division, little guys, but he's a Olympic gold medalist. He is a UFC champion, like champ. This is a type of guy who his skills garner higher wages, but people aren't tuning in to watch you because they don't, you know what I mean? Like, you got to do your part.
Right.
And promoting, and like you said, the UFC is so young to where it's like they have the ability to do more and to pay more and to do everything that they're supposed to do, but they are a business as well.
Yep.
So
they can't take care of everything,
and they're gonna do what's in the best interest of the business, and then sprinkle in doing enough for the fighters.
Right.
So, and that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what business is. They're going to do just enough until they are forced to do more.
For sure. And I think the biggest winners from doing the extra stuff outside of the octagon is someone like O'Malley or someone like Anthony Smith or someone like, because you see a lot of champions doing the channels.
Yeah.
Not everybody can hold that belt. Yeah. So you have to figure out, even Don does Twitch. You have to figure out, hey, how am I going to make money outside the sport, especially if I don't get to touch the hardware? Because I'm sure the level of pay between a non-championship fighter and a championship fighter is drastically different. Yeah. And then you have champions, multiple champions, say, hey, I'm not getting paid enough.
Yeah.
So
they got it. Like,
if you're just in the UFC trying to make it, figure out whatever it is and just run with that.
Yeah. I agree. And
Chael Sonnen too. He's the biggest winner out of all the people that have never touched a belt.
And Chael Sonnen gives free game. And he's like how Chael Chael Sonnen was a perfect example of, and I don't know what his pay was, but I will tell you his promotion was on point every time because he did what he was supposed to do. He didn't complain about the fight not being promoted. He just told you Anderson Silva sucks. Like, flat out. He told you he was going to beat the hell out of John Jones. Like, he's giving you, you know what I mean? And as these fights and stuff happen, he's telling you, like, why do we not hear anything about, like, Colby Covington loses to Kamaru? Why is he not beating on the table saying, this dude is not better than me? Give me the shot again. Like, these guys need to do more. And that's a guy that it's kind of like look inward before projecting. And
which would help the world.
Yeah.
If the world took that approach.
Absolutely.
Everything would be way better.
Yeah. So
extreme ownership is your boy might say.
Yes, absolutely. So I mean, as it pertains to this whole situation, I think these guys have like it's like they have the extreme platform to put emphasis on anything else that they're doing outside of fighting and or promoting their own fight, because you get the pay-per-view, you get the eyes, like you have the chance to 1 million people watch you 3 times a year. How do you capitalize on that instead of saying, hey, UFC? And the thing that also that I also like comes to mind when I think about this whole situation is that people always compare it to boxing, and those boxers that we know of are the ones getting the bag, but everybody else on the card, 1, we don't know them, and 2, they're not getting paid. So when we're looking at Francis needs to get Tyson Fury money, we also got to think, yeah, the dude who's opening the card is getting, bro, he's getting like I think 12 and 12, whereas a boxer is getting like 2K. So like that is getting sprinkled everywhere else. They can still pay Francis, but they can't pay him as much because they're literally in boxing. They're taking from everyone else and giving to the top. Yeah, and it's only like 20 people that's getting the bag for real. So I don't know. It just depends on like how you want to look at it. Like, are you really for everybody, or do you want your stars to get paid? Right. As a fan, you know? So when you're beating on that table, like you got to think. We got guys like Adrian Yanez that we love. If you want Izzy to get 54 mil per fight, some of your boys is gonna have to suffer for it. Right. So yeah. That was excellent. But of course, now we need to tackle the biggest, baddest, the best fight of the year candidate. Absolutely, has to be right now. Absolutely. Right. Volkanovski, Makhachev, if that's how you say his name. I don't know. Makhachev, Islam. What did you think about the fight? If you could sum up this fight in a headline, what would it be? It would be that's tough. There's a lot. There's a couple of ways you can go with it. I would say something along the lines of Volkanovski shocks Islam in a thriller, but comes up short. Something like that. I love that. Yeah, I love that. Because but Islam said he wasn't surprised. Yeah, he says that. But but I think Volkanovski said it best, where he said, Islam underestimated my wrestling and I underestimated his striking. Yep. And that's where it goes. Bro, Volk, when that fight was going on, I think first, second round, I was like, oh, like everything that Volk was saying is absolutely true. I think in the first 2 rounds, the only moment that was like, whoa, was Islam did get him to the point of a rear naked choke and was trying to put the squeeze, this legendary squeeze that we hear about. It must be otherworldly. And to me, it looked like Volk's head started turning purple, like he was cutting off some type of circulation. But obviously, and I'm telling Carlos right next to me, I'm like, bro, he's not tapping. No. Regardless of what happened, he's like, I don't know, like whatever. I'm like, regardless of if he got the hooks in, no hooks on his chin, he's not tapping. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He told you, I'm not going to tap, and I'm not going to. And he's not going to get me there. Yeah. So, but bro,
that was one thing that I was very surprised about early was how ineffective Volkanovski's striking was. And not to say that that was the case the whole fight,
right.
But I was very surprised at the range difference. And watching him versus Max, he was able to get the shots that he was looking for.
Crazy stat, but he has a longer reach than Max. Crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Crazy.
Max not built right.
He's
5'11", I think.
Fam, he had it's crazy.
That's wild.
But
I could tell it was very difficult for him to get in on Islam and really start landing shots. So that was early watching the fight. That was a proponent that I was like, oh, okay, like this is different because it's not really how I expected at least this portion of the fight to go. And with the Khabib comparison to Islam, to see Islam striking like that, it makes me wonder just how like Volk would have fared against a Khabib, because that's like an easy comparison. But we don't have to go there. But this is what I'm thinking, like as I'm watching like the early rounds.
Yeah,
and he didn't ragdoll him.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
no, he didn't. And even in the wrestling department, it was. I would say Islam is better, but he wasn't dominant in the wrestling department. So he
against Volk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Islam was better, like
and
he was more technical, which leads to just having the better positions.
Right.
So
well, it was a lot of offense too.
Right.
When you speak about Volk's wrestling, it was very defensive, scramble, preventative maintenance type of deal. And no, Islam was. You could see. I wish I was able to hear it with the commentary, but you could see he was trying to shape him up, get his leg over, hold him down, and Volk was not having any of it.
No, none.
Any of it.
And you could and then I want to touch on the striking point you made. Like Volk is fast, and that keeps getting like I keep realizing it every time he fights. He's just so fast.
He is. You know what's incredible about that, though? And this made me really excited for the John Jones fight, because everybody had a question mark on Volk in terms of, oh, he put on a lot of weight. How's that going to affect his speed? He'll probably be slower. Because same thing with Conor. They said he was slow when he moved up to fight Nate. And so you see Volk go up, and you're like, no.
So he's so fast that I could see Islam kind of being a little bit more defensive, like kind of playing on the back foot more in the striking. And it's just because Volk is so fast. So but Volk, it was so good, bro, because Volk was so fast that Islam had to respect it. Like, oh, because he can catch me. Like, oh, he can catch me with something coming in, like whatever. But he was like so locked in to where he could still snipe him. Every time he would try to come in, he would dot him every time. And then Volk would be like, oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. Because he knows like he needs to get inside, and he's quick enough to get there, but Islam was actually connecting.
You're going to take one.
And that's the difference.
That's what we said, though. He's a precise striker.
Yeah.
He doesn't have like a high output. He put Charles down.
Exactly.
Precise.
Yeah. And he was finding it. And that was the beauty in the fight. It's like you can tell Volk has put in this type of pressure on him to where it's like, oh, Islam always pressures the other guy.
Yeah.
Now it's like a back and forth. It's like a tug of war.
Yeah.
But every time Volk gets close, boom.
Yep.
Stay back.
Yep. Enough to make him think about it.
And then every time Islam shoots,
stuffed.
Volk is stuffed.
Stuffed.
I'm up against the cage. Yep. I'm doing the right thing. It was like so much back and forth. It's like, bro.
Yeah. It was
somebody's
beautiful.
Gonna crack.
Yeah.
But who is it gonna be?
Yeah. And no one cracked unless you want to argue literally the last minute when Volk got him down, which was a crazy turn of events. But I was very surprised at Islam's inability to like ragdoll Volk.
Yeah.
It was in the beginning of the fight, you could kind of see like there were tipping points where I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is where he slams him down right here.
Yep.
And it didn't happen. And I'm like, bro, what's happening?
What's going on?
And then I'm literally hearing Volk in my head, like, you know, he thinks he's gonna have his way with me. He's not. He's like, I've been in these deep waters. I put myself in bad positions on purpose to be able to get out of them and be comfortable in those situations. So I see that he's stuffing all these attempts. I'm like, bro, this is beautiful. Even if it's like mostly defensive, it is still beautiful that you're not having my way, because you do have this wrestling style that has this allure and history of dominance that when you see it not working in real time, you're like, what's happening right now?
So where does the victory come from?
Yeah.
Because this is how I thought you were going to win.
Exactly.
So how do you win? Yeah. And then on the other end for Volk, because during the fight, I was thinking, okay, if this wrestling doesn't work, how does Islam win? And then I was thinking, okay, Volk is landing some shots. So I'm thinking, will Islam be like demoralized by this not working? And then maybe Volk like clips him. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Second and third round, I'm like, Volk could like clip him or something. Like, this stuff's not going right.
I think third, fourth round, I was like thinking he might. It could happen. Yeah. Especially as which is another surprise, especially as the cardio difference started to take place.
Mate, that is probably the most important thing about this fight was they were both in extremely good shape.
Excellent shape.
And then Volk ends up edging him out. And I think I seen it in maybe the end of the fourth. It was kind of like he's looking at the clock and I'm like, Islam's kind of like, Volk is a freaking character. He's literally like, bro, do something. Yeah. Like I'm in this, like you got my back, but you're not doing nothing. You're supposed to be killing me.
Did you hear him talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah. It was like 15 seconds, right?
Yes. So Volk is in these positions to where it's like, bro, and I'm like going into the fifth, I'm like, Volk is not tired at all. And then when they come out in the fifth, I'm like, okay, with Volk not being tired, Volk is faster.
This could be
and he, I think the corner might have told him like, you need to press on the gas now. Like you have to do something. I don't think they told him that he had to finish him though. But they, which leads me to believe that they think like, it could go either way.
At that point, like if you had it 3-1, 2-2.
Yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah. At best case scenario for Volk, it was 2-2.
Yep.
Best case for Islam is 3-1. Yeah. I don't think you could really have had it any other way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, but with him coming out in the fifth round, looking like the fresher fighter, him having a better speed advantage, and then also the wrestling not being like a, Islam showed that he could get him in the positions that he wanted to eventually, but he didn't show the ability to finish. Even with the rear naked choke, it was more like of a crank. He had it more of on his jaw.
Yeah.
He was more of like cranking his neck. You don't. This is the reason Khabib was mad at Conor. Well, I don't think Khabib knew at the time, but he's upset that Conor tapped. But that choke that he had on Conor wasn't a choke. It was a crank. So he was really just hurting Conor's neck to where Conor just gave up to the pressure. But Khabib is like, go to sleep. There is no going to sleep because you're not choking him. So when Conor lost to Diaz, that was a choke. He lost to Khabib. Khabib was cranking his face, so he like tapped to the pressure. I didn't see a finish coming from Islam starting at that fifth round. So I was like, oh, Volk comes out and puts it on him. Like he could like, I don't think he knocks. Well, first of all, he was hitting him a couple times, and I was like, "Oh, he could find him. He could knock him out."
You're talking about Volk?
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah, he can find him."
Yeah, well, the whole way he ended up in that position they ended the fight in is because he hurt him with a shot.
Yep.
And you had to have figured that was going to be his path to victory if he were to win, and actually finish the fight. Anyways, it was going to have to be hit him with a shot, put him down. Now I'm doing my best to put him to sleep.
Yeah. Man, the way that they ended that is a perfect way to end the fight
for sure.
If you're gonna lose,
for sure,
that shows you, hey fam, I'm here.
Well, Joe Rogan's logic, He won the fight.
He won the.
He won. He was whooping him at the end.
Yeah.
And then if you look at their faces afterwards, you're like,
and they do go off of damage. The thing that was a little bit sneaky about the damage though is Islam's face was bruised up, but you couldn't really tell. But Volk's eye was cut.
Like,
it was cut. Pretty good.
His left eye.
It was cut pretty good. But when you're looking at him, you can't really tell. But when you get the close up, you can see that like it's swollen and it's like dipped to an angle to where you can't really tell that much.
Yeah, I think that happens like in the early/middle rounds. I think maybe round 3.
Yeah.
So
I think he needs him.
A lot of that damage on Islam's face had to have come from the 5th round, right?
Yeah. I think it came from the 4th or the.
At least in the later rounds, right?
Yeah, it was the end of the 3rd because when he had him on his back, I remember seeing his face kind of red.
One thing before we get too far removed from it. So after Volk was in the neck crank position, at that point onwards, I felt like he was in no real danger.
Right.
Like that was the quote unquote danger. And from there, it was fairly smooth sailing. What do you think about that positioning though? The way, and I don't remember which round it was, but it's the videos and the memes that everybody's talking about, where Islam like has him in like,
body triangle.
Yeah, in the body triangle.
Yep.
But he's not putting any real danger on him, and Volk's punching him, like getting damaged, like talking to him, punching him, taunting him. Like, what are you thinking as this is going on, and how does it play to like the perception of the people that are not only watching the fight but judging the fight?
Yeah, I think that like first of all, that's literally the most dangerous position you can be in terms of
getting submitted.
Like you are in. The body triangle locks you in.
Yeah, you're immobilized.
You're immobilized. They have your back. There's only so long you can fight off a rear naked choke before they finally get it. So,
but is that the sentiment you were feeling when you were watching it? Because as I'm watching it, I'm like, it looks like Islam's ready to give up on this part of the fight before Volk is. Volk looks completely comfortable. It looked like Islam wasn't even trying anymore to like, and of course you can see the clock and everything. So he's probably like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, arms. Has to get your arms tired too.
Absolutely. But he wasn't, I think he kind of was comfortable. Well, see the thing when I'm watching that, I'm thinking one, he's not doing anything, but you can't, the only other option is standing them up, but you can't stand them up when he has him in a body. Aljo versus Peter Yan. You can't stand him up. The only difference is Aljo was putting in more work on the back than because at first Islam was working to get the choke. Volk doing a great job hand fighting.
Amazing job.
I think they said Volk said he's like not worried about getting choked, and they're like, yeah, he has no neck. What's there to choke? So I'm literally looking like he has his chin tucked, and I'm like, yeah, where is he choking him? So it's hard. It's hard, and I think Volk has to figure out a way to get out of that position because that's the only way that anything is going to change. Like he has to get out of that position, and that means the only way to get out of that position is to move around and do some stuff that's going to put you in a greater danger to get choked. The problem is he was fighting hands so well that he was in no risk of getting choked, and he was tagging him a little bit by hitting him, but that he was doing some damage, but he wasn't doing significant damage, and he also wasn't working to get out of that position either. So how do you stand them up when you know? So it's tough. It's tough, but you have to get out of that position because that's literally if a Volk or let's say they started the fight in that position. Two fresh fighters, they start in that position at the beginning of the fight. Islam's working extremely hard to get that choke. Like, how long can Volk stay in that position? And you're kind of like bailing him out.
I think he was in that position for 3 minutes.
Yeah, but it's also in the 4th round as well. What I'm saying is like if they start fresh, you don't hold on to that or you don't fight that position off all day.
Right.
So it's kind of hard for a judge to just, a ref to be like, all right, stand up.
Yeah.
Especially he got a body triangle, bro. Like he's literally locked in. He's locked in. You're not going nowhere. Like you're here. Rest of the fight. This round is mine.
Yeah.
But I do think that.
But does that make the round yours? Like I know I guess at what point is it diminishing returns? Because like I said, there was a certain point where you're watching it and you're like, the person who is receiving the bad end of this deal is not the guy that's tied up right now.
Yeah. And you can tell that because bro stopped trying to go for a choke and started punching back.
Bro.
He's letting that's your indication. Yeah. Whatever Volk is doing is fucking with me.
Yeah. Bro, he was hitting. I think the first one he got in there was like, oh, he rang my bell a little bit. Like I did.
Yeah.
Then Volk's like talking to him. I bet you like he's trying to process what's happening. Bam.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, he just, bro, got an accent and everything. He's like, oh, he's with.
Bam. Bang. Yeah. So, it's tough because
it's a good ass fight, bro. Oh
yeah. God. It's tough because you have to try to get out of that position. Yeah. And as an offensive guy, you have to try to work to get the choke. And he was working to get the choke in the beginning. And then at the end of the round, he didn't. But it's 10, like, are you going to stand him up with 15 seconds left, 30 seconds left? I don't know. So I agree. Like, at what point do you give like the guy who has his back taken more credit than the guy who's just sitting on his back?
Right.
That's something that we're just going to have to figure out. Like, we need to have like a.
Well, I think they should reevaluate the whole scoring system in general,
I think so too.
and
give us kind of like a more of a. But it's hard. Yeah, we do have to acknowledge it's hard.
Very difficult.
So
very difficult.
But we need a foundation where we can look at it and be like, okay, he has a body triangle, but he's not doing nothing
for sure.
Or he's absorbed 57 strikes, and he hasn't put any pressure on him.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that, like, I don't know how long the scoring system has been set up like this. I'm sure it's been
it's evolved a little bit.
Yeah. I'm thinking as the sport needs to evolve, like as the sport evolves, this needs to evolve too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big topic around, like, we're all seeing it.
Yeah, because I watched a draw for a main event for a belt.
Yeah.
And that just can't happen.
And the problem is it goes off of a 10-point must system, and it's a boxing,
like boxing.
Exactly. It's a boxing thing. But there's a lot of fighters are saying we wish the judges like feel certain things so that way they know how to calculate it, because another argument is if I'm leg kicking you and you're jabbing me, which one should be more effective or weighed heavier? And fighters have typically said, like, it only takes about 7 leg kicks until your leg is done.
Right.
However, you getting hit in the head, people see that and they're like, bet, like, they're winning.
Yeah.
But then
it's more splashy.
You get something like Izzy at the end of the fight and you're like, oh, he got knocked out. But then he tells you, bro, I couldn't move.
Nope.
But but no one was thinking, well, there was a point where they were thinking that his leg was compromised because I think he checked a kick and he fell backwards. That was the only point where people paid attention to that. But that wasn't it.
I think it happened in the first round,
bro,
or like second round. It was early,
and that lets you know.
Yeah,
that lets you know. So there has to.
And then I see it's hard to find a solution for that, because then you see like. One solution would be to have people that have actually done it in there, but then you have the biases that come in, different camps. It's a tough fix, and I know
it's tough.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
But what you think about the decision? Like as they're getting up from the 5th round after the bludgeoning that happened for the last 63 seconds, what's going through your minds before they raise the hands?
I'm of the mindset that the positioning is important. So I'm thinking, great fight by Volk. Islam's going to win the decision. Not upset or surprised, whatever happens. And when they get up, I'm thinking, I think Islam won. Because of the positioning, and then as much credit as I would give to. See, the thing is that whenever I'm thinking of it, I'm like, wow, Volk surprised me because he didn't get dominated. But I'm trying to take a step back from that in terms of just giving him the fight because I was surprised he didn't get dominated.
Then it's in Australia, so you're feeling the energy.
And so I'm like, just because you didn't get dominated doesn't mean you win. And so I'm thinking. Very close. Yeah. Very close.
Yeah.
I will say.
What, 60-40?
Yeah. Yeah.
55-45?
Yeah. Closer. Yeah. Because I agree with, I say positioning especially in like the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and the ground game, the grappling. Positioning is very important. So when he is on his back for that amount of time, controlling the fight, like I'm gonna give it to him. But I do also agree Volk was doing the damage.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it's tough.
I'm like, fam, if they gave it to Volk, I can't argue because Islam is just sitting there.
Right. He led in significant strikes. Volk did. But then, of course, he got dominated in control time.
So what I will say, though, is while the scorecards are being read, the one scorecard I disagreed with was 49-46. And when they said that, I knew Islam.
Yeah, it was only going to be slanted one way.
Yeah, I knew he won. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, he won.
Yeah.
Well, what were you thinking? Like throughout?
Man, I might have been feeding into the energy a little bit. Of course, I'm in the club and stuff too, so I'm not 100% like accurately watching. But going into the 5th round, I'm thinking, oh, this is 2-2.
Yeah,
and so and it could be the effect of Volk's really out here shocking the world right now.
Yeah.
And then you see the weaknesses that like. Islam came in with a game plan, and I don't think he executed the game plan the way he thought. But Volk said the same thing. So I'm thinking it's 2-2. So I see that, and I'm like I'm just caught up in the moment. Like I'm literally, bro, I'm in the club, hands on my face. I'm like, I'm like, bro, did Volk just win this? I'm like, this man Volk won, bro.
Yes.
And then I think I was able to hear. I actually don't even think I was able to hear. I just see like Islam's hand raised and he's celebrating. Volk wore it like a champ. He didn't, no disappointment, anything on his face. And so that's all fine and dandy. And then like I'm starting to itch away because it's time to go enjoy the moment now. Obviously, I can't hear anything on the phone. And right before I just change pace completely, Carlos goes, it was unanimous. I said, what? What? Unanimous?
Yeah.
Bro, you know how I feel about the clears and the unanimous bro, I hear that and I'm like, what is going on, right? Who could watch that and
clearly say?
Yeah. That was my only beef. It's a shame that I guess technically someone didn't have to lose that fight the way the judging be going, but it's a shame that someone had to lose that fight because you're looking at both of their performances. Like this is just the top of the sport right now. But yeah, I'm not mad about who won, but the unanimous, I'm kind of like, bro,
come on, bro.
What's up with that?
I couldn't clearly tell who won. So how are you telling me?
It can be unanimous, though. But I also think, again, I'm the guy that'll use whatever context I need to. I also think that there's a level of it too where if Volk wins the belt, that's not the greatest thing for the sport at the moment. Like if Volk wins the belt, it gets mucky because then he's holding up the division. You have Islam, who's like this dominant type of fighter that has plenty of fights that you can line up. So then I'm just looking like, okay, if you have champ right here, then he's already cleared out his division. It's kind of nasty down there. Is he going to vacate it's just, there's too many logistics where it's like, again, if it's a close fight and the situation makes sense, we're going to give it to the situation that makes the most sense. I don't know if they think like that. That's just my own crazy brain.
The judges are human, but they aren't controlled by the UFC, but they are human. So.
I hear that point too, and I'm like, I don't know. Not the human part, the UFC part. I'm like, there has to be some kind of hands. And then you get the theories that like judges want to be in good favor with the UFC, you pay the baddie fight, that type of stuff.
Right.
But all in all, that was like, it lived up to it. Again, fight of the year candidate.
Yep.
And as I'm watching that, I'm just like, we get John Jones in 3 weeks?
Bro.
Oh my God.
My God.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It was surprising. It was surprising too. Volk's stamina appearing to be the better stamina when he put on the weight, because that's always put on the weight. It's gonna, more muscle. You're gonna burn out faster. You need more oxygen. He dispelled that.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm also now at a point where I believe everything Volk says.
Well, I think I'm of a different mindset in that aspect. I don't think he put on weight. I think he cut less weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're only separated by 10 pounds, which is a good amount.
Yeah.
Obviously. But like, Izzy going up?
Yeah.
He's going up what, 20 pounds? From 185 to 205.
Right.
John Jones going up. He's going from 205 to a 165 or 265 max.
Right.
So it's like a bigger difference. Even Kamaru, even a welterweight going to a middleweight, it's 170 to 185. Right. So I think he just cut less weight, which is why I think
it was just more natural for him. He felt better.
He didn't, which is why I'm like, when you're saying his speed, I'm like, yeah, because he didn't have to cut as much, and he probably didn't gain. He probably was just probably like an easier camp.
Right.
He's probably cut less or 10 pounds less and work extra hard still.
Yeah. So what do you see next for the champion Islam Makhachev? Or what would
somebody
you like
has
to
to
see next?
Somebody has to one of these fights that are coming up, somebody's gonna have to prove themselves to like stand out. The most obvious answer is if Charles wins, he gets a rematch.
Who's he fighting?
Beneil Dariush.
Yeah.
So if he wins, he gets a rematch. But I'm not opposed to somebody else getting in there,
Yeah. If it wasn't him, who would you like to see?
I think, going into this, I thought it's just Islam's division, and it's just gonna be the whoever. Yeah. So I don't really. It's
still very much could be the case.
Yeah, I think so. I think still. I think this proved Volk's. I think this is more of a achievement for Volk versus an indictment for Islam, and the guys that he's gonna go against are gonna be. It's almost like Volk is the untraditional. And then the guys that he's going to go against are more traditional.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be this similar size. Like, Volk is fucking 5'6". So even taking him down, like, you got to get even lower to get to him. And he's like a bowling ball. So it's a little bit harder. Like, everything that he said was going to be a factor, and that I ultimately thought, no, I don't think so, was actually true. So I'm like, okay. But
I want to see Poirier get in there with him.
I do want to see Poirier.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I want to see any of the top 5.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I do want to see
the rematch.
Beneil. I do want to see Beneil. They were supposed to fight. I just want him. Like, Beneil is the guy with another wrestling aspect to him.
Yeah.
And Volk just showed us, like, if you're not scared of the boogeyman and you willing to go through whatever, then
I think with Beneil, I mean, he's in the driver's seat.
Right.
Whoever wins that fight, they kind of control their own path. Like, you're going to be in title shot contention.
Yeah.
Like, you already are, but you're
that's the number one contender, I feel like.
Yeah, it is. So you're going to be, if he wins, that's a new fight for him too. So that'll be good. What do you see? Do you see Volk dabbling in 155 again and maybe fighting somebody else?
I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see it though, but I'm interested in that because he's shown that he has the ability. And these other guys fight differently, so that the style is going to be different. Like him versus a Poirier. It's going to be interesting.
Electric. I would love to see that. Oh,
I feel like
Poirier.
I almost feel like he is faster than everybody.
Yeah, he probably is.
I'm getting that sense. Like, damn,
bro,
he's so fast.
He has that Australian spirit, bro. It's like the country's flowing through him, bro. He's the chakra.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do want to.
Him versus Gaethje.
Yeah, I think he walks.
Him versus Chandler.
Bro, I have a guy. Fiziev, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Yeah. One thing though, Islam went into that fight saying, "I'm gonna knock him out."
We knew that wasn't gonna happen though.
Well, exactly, but I'm gonna
We knew that wasn't gonna happen. Let's be real.
But him going in there saying that and then having a stand up fight is like, if Khabib was there, you're not standing up. Yeah, take him down. Yeah, and then at the end of the round, you're getting cussed out. Yeah, because you need to take him down. Yeah, like, what are we doing?
What are you doing, brother?
Yeah, and so I think that could not taking anything away, but I'm just
and he told Khabib that if he was there, it would have been easier.
Yeah, and it would have been different because he would have been like, bro, wrestle. What are we doing? Stop all the bullshit. But so I think this is one of those experiences like Hamza when he fought Gilbert. Yeah, you have to go through the valleys to get to the peaks. You have to go through that. And this is one of those like, do you want to lose this belt?
Yeah.
Because you almost did.
Yeah.
Go wrestle.
Yeah.
Period. And I think Volk just like woke him up.
Yeah.
And either we're finna see, both of these guys are finna ascend.
They're gonna get. They're both. How much ascension can Volk do?
Yeah. Offensive wrestling, like
that's facts.
But
just in general,
exactly.
He's already
just gonna have to add something to his game like that, and just making it a point to do that.
Yeah,
like if he comes out his next fight, it is like I'm just gonna work on takedown.
Yeah,
but he's at a level that he could just start working on shit.
Yeah,
because if all else fails, hey, bro.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just whip your ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it right back. Yeah. I'm getting a rematch guaranteed, and I'm just go get it right back.
Yeah.
What about that takedown from Islam? The only one that you looked at and was like, yes.
Yeah. I was like, bro, he went through him.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. Everything.
Waited for it. As soon as he saw it. As soon as he saw a shot.
Like, oh my God, this is good. I was actually worried, and I was wondering, and you don't see this a lot from Volk, but I was wondering, like, he's gonna shoot. Why not throw a knee? Why not like anticipate that and just throw a knee? Harder, easier said than done. But like, I'm thinking, oh, he's tired. Yeah, I think he could clip him with a knee.
I think I got a flashback Khabib immediately because there was always a point in his fights where Khabib was like, all right, it's time.
Fun's over.
It's time. Yeah, it's time. And then when he went down with you was getting drowned for sure. But it's gonna be interesting. I'm very interested to see what happens between the two of these fighters and if they rematch, because I think anybody who saw this fight is perfectly okay seeing a rematch at some point. Yeah,
and I think in order to get that rematch, anything can happen. But I think the proper way to do that is to let him fight one person in the lightweight.
Islam.
No.
Volk. Let him fight another one of those top 5 guys.
Anybody. Yeah, top. I'm gonna even say like top 6 or 7, just to give him you beat this guy, because I don't,
him and Chandler would be that'd be an interesting fight.
That's who I would say, but I don't want to pick on Chandler. I want to leave him alone.
I don't mind it, but I'm just thinking like from the optics, kind of like the big fight. That's one of those fights. I think Khabib had mentioned it, like, this person goes fight, or maybe Islam. Connor goes and fights Chandler, and then he gets a title shot, and it's like,
any of those, him versus Gaethje would be a good one.
A banger.
Yeah, because Gaethje is somebody that he's like beatable, but he's definitely like, I could see a decision for Volk in a fight like that. Yeah. So I think him just taking a like number 1 contender, or he wins a couple more, move up.
And permanently stay there.
Yeah, I don't think that's beyond like.
Well, what else is left for him at one?
He's got a couple of contenders if he's like interested in them, but they have to do, like Arnold Allen. He has to beat a Max Holloway. Ilya Taporia. He's lower, but he's coming. So if Volk can wait. We could see that. So there's a couple of things, like it could be interesting.
Oh my God. I would kill to see that fight.
It could be interesting.
But first things first, I need to see him fight Patty.
Yeah. Oh, see, we're not letting that happen. The UFC, Patty's got to lose.
No better than that.
Yeah. And even he can move up to lightweight. So Ilya. So yeah. Like I'm saying, like there's some options. But he's cleared out. Like he's done what he's supposed to do. But there's still some exciting options on the table. So.
Yeah. Is Volk bald right now? He's completely bald. I think bald Volk is like the Super Saiyan.
He stepped into he stepped into that.
Yeah.
After the Ortega one.
Yeah. I'm relatively late to joining the sport. So my introduction to Volk, he's been
bald.
Yeah, he's been bald. So I see him with hair and I'm like, this is not the guy though.
Bald by preference.
Yeah.
By choice.
Yeah. Hey, people that can go bald by choice are special. John.
Yeah. Bald John is it's crazy.
That's locked in, John.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he's different.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I should be completely it for 284. You saw Joe's reaction to the fight?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he wasn't having it, but nuanced.
He's a fan.
Yeah, he is a fan, and that's peak fandom right there. That's not commentator. That's not none of that. And if you look at his face, he was feeling the bourbon or the whiskey, whatever he was drinking.
Yeah. And they're watching. They're doing a companion.
Yeah, they're in a companion, and he did the professional thing and said, I have to go back and watch it.
Maybe
He's like, yeah, maybe I have to watch it.
Yeah,
and that's
he always in those companions. He always throws that caveat in there, like maybe we weren't watching all the way.
Yeah.
So we need to lock in.
It's easy to get caught up in the energy at the end of that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overwhelmingly easy.
Absolutely.
Especially, I think you were kind of like on your solo riding just the energy of whatever was happening on your phone when you were watching. But I'm in the club with the homies drinking, like, so I'm
like,
looking
whoa.
I say that to say it's more similar to Joe's situation, and we're both like consumed. Just he won.
Did I just I just witness this? Yeah.
But I think last thing before get off this topic, I think when you watch the hands raised, like when in that waiting period, if you look at Islam, I think his face tells that he doesn't know.
Yeah. I think he's like relieved. He's like, wow. Yeah. I think this pushes both fighters to a completely different level.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Volk's so good, bro.
Yeah.
So good.
That's the major takeaway. Volk is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
What's the next card coming up?
We talk about pay-per-views.
Yeah, there's like I think there's one.
The next card is probably the worst card of all time.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying.
I think the next one is a Get Me Over, and then of course, it's March 4th is right there. It's right there.
I can't believe it's like this close. Though.
It's I'm here, thinking like, bro. It's here.
It still hasn't hit me yet.
Yeah, no,
but it's right there,
bro. It's there. That's all they're gonna be pushing like from here on out.
I cannot believe that is that close. I'm literally like, you saying that, I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
March is right there,
bro.
We're finna see the return of John Jones, bro.
Yeah, we have this week, and then the next week it's gonna be like, all right, like. The week after next.
And then but then it's fight week.
Yeah.
And
then it's fight week. It's a whole different, It's kind of like when you're working out, maybe you're doing cardio or working out or at work. At work's a better one. When you're in that last hour and you're like, you done worked, knowing you done worked 11 hours. I'm sure you're at like 10 hours like, hey, once I get to hour 11, I'm done. Because this
work is over with.
Yeah. This last hour is
it's finna fly.
Yeah, it's non-existent. It's gone.
Yeah.
But
oh man,
that's what it's gonna be. Oh my god, it's gonna be so beautiful.
Yeah, we got, and we even there's the pay-per-views, but even in the there's some in between, like Peter Yan goes against Merab Dvalishvili. So that's after the John Jones fight, I'm pretty sure, and that's a good main event, 2 top contenders. So we got a good span coming up. No pun intended. I think after this terrible card, there's a card with span on it, and I forget who he's fighting, but they're main eventing a card. So it's them, John Jones, Merab, Usman. Bro, we're just going straight downhill.
Yeah,
straight downhill after that.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's it for this week's installment. Certified Jesters. Glad to be back.
Absolutely.
Back in the flesh. Let us know how you like the new setup. If you're a recurring member of the channel. If you're new, welcome. And it's gonna be more often. Uploads weekly. So it's your boy Bash.
It's me, man. Him. All right. That's key.
No lies detected. And with that, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Jesters!